Well, the Golden State Warriors are cooking the NBA again. And there isn't much any team in the league can do about it. And here's why. The scariest thing about this Warriors team is that they don't even have it all figured out yet. However, they're still looking amazing early on in the season. And of course, it's all led by the one and only Steph Curry. Steph is running an MVP campaign, averaging a blistering 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, while shooting 51% from the field, 92% from the line, and 47% from 3 on 12 attempts. Yes, you heard that correctly. Steph effing Curry is shooting 47% from behind the arc. At this point, if you're one of the few people out there who doesn't think he's the greatest shooter ever, then I'm sorry, but you need some serious help. Even though he's been the GOAT shooter for over half a decade, it just doesn't make any sense how he's shooting these high percentages on crazy high volume. And what makes it even more unbelievable is that he shoots most of these shots from the logo, or shoots them off balance. No one, and I mean no one, can do what he's doing. He's making logo and off-balance threes at a higher clip than guys who shoot standstill catch-and-shoot threes every game. Just let that sink in. Now, obviously, it's still early in the season, but let's be real. The man has shot in the 40s for the majority of his career. If he wanted to shoot 45% this season, he could absolutely do it. Due to this and other things, we think he's in the MVP race. And if he does win it, he'll be the first player over the age of 35 to win it. Yeah, it's hard to believe that the Babyfaced Assassin isn't really a baby anymore. He's 35 years old. We really are coming to the end of an era. But based on what he's doing, I don't think it's going to be ending as soon as we might think. You see, even at 35, I could make a strong case that he's at his absolute peak right now. I think many people think his peak was in the 2015-2016 season. However, he's putting up the same numbers from back then right now. Plus, his game is overall more well-rounded than it was in 2015. For starters, his playmaking and facilitating ability has always been elite, but he hasn't always had to use it due to Draymond having that role. But we've seen time and time again how special he is at getting it to his teammates. But this year, as well as last season, his true point guard skills have evolved. Remember in the second round of the playoffs last year, the Lakers tried to turn Curry into a passer instead of a scorer. And well, it didn't work very well. In the spurts that the Lakers tried to double, trap, or run him off the three-point line, he began picking apart their defense. Play after play after play. And after witnessing that, I came to a conclusion that he was made in a lab. His abilities just aren't fair. The league better just be happy he isn't 6'7" or 6'8". But Steph is carrying the biggest load of his career. When it comes to putting the ball in the hoop, he has to bring games home more than ever. Other than him, the Warriors don't have another scorer who can take over games. We can say what we want about Jordan Poole, but on the offensive end, he made them nearly unstoppable. While he isn't off to the hottest start with the Wizards, he made the Warriors' offense so much more dynamic and versatile. And I know Klay is supposed to be Steph's partner in crime, the Splash Brother, the Robin to Steph's Batman. But Klay just isn't the same player he once was. If a defense paid too much attention to Steph, Klay could easily put up 30 or 40 on you in a heartbeat. But in the present day, it's far less likely. But even with that being said, let's not act like Klay isn't nice on the court. He is averaging 6, 3, and 2 while shooting 35% from 3 on 7 attempts, which obviously isn't great by his standards. However, Klay shoots 41% from 3 for his career, so the chance of him shooting this low this year is slim to none. He's just in a shooting slump at the moment, and I genuinely feel that he's going to get it going soon. I'm honestly just not that worried about it, especially when you have another all-time great point guard on your roster in Chris Paul. CP3 has pretty much been a godsend for this team's second unit. While he isn't scoring great, just averaging 8 points per game while shooting 36% from the field and 15% from 3, his decision-making and ability to run the offense has been as good as advertised. He's averaging 7 assists per game while only committing 0.8 turnovers per game, which is a pretty insane assist to turnover ratio. This is so damn important for Golden State moving forward because, as we all know, one of their biggest problems has been protecting the basketball. As of right now, they're ranked within the top 10 in turnovers per game, averaging just 14. So Chris Paul's impact is very apparent in this area. However, we are all more than familiar with his point god skills. And once his scoring comes along, long, he's going to elevate the Warriors to a whole other level. He's been a mid-range master for a long portion of his career, and he's actually been pretty solid here thus far, shooting 48% on 3.7 attempts per game. The non-Curry minutes are crucial for the Dubs if they want to make it to the top of the mountain this season. That's why Chris Paul and others need to be flawless in their roles. Andrew Wiggins was the Warriors' secret weapon during their 2022 championship run, and right now he's off to a horrible start offensively if we're being honest, averaging just 10 points while shooting 40% from the field, 15% from 3, and 51% from the free throw line. And that's the thing though, the fact that this team has been so good while many of their key players are struggling just goes to show whenever they do get it figured out, they're going to be the team to beat. Wiggins is someone who can get them 16 to 18 points per night on solid efficiency on all three levels. It's only a matter of time before his numbers start to drastically increase. In the meantime, players like Moody and Jonathan Kaminga are filling that void, especially Kaminga. He's averaging a career-high 12 points per game. He still isn't a good shooter, but his slashing and cutting ability is getting the job done. Plus, he's shown flashes of creating his own shots in the mid-range. That's something we're definitely keeping our eye on as the season progresses. And then there's the guy who keeps everything together, which has been and always will be Draymond Green. We know what he brings to the table as a facilitator for the offense, but his defensive impact has been elite. Green's defensive impact extends beyond statistical categories. His on-ball tenacity and knack for disrupting plays creates chaos for opposing offenses. Green's anticipation and quick hands results in steals and deflections, often leading to fast break opportunities for his team. His defensive playmaking elevates the Warriors' transition game and puts additional pressure on opponents. The correlation between Draymond Green's defensive excellence and the Golden State Warriors' success is undeniable. During the team's championship runs, Green's defensive contributions were instrumental in stifling opponents and securing crucial stops in key moments. Other than turnovers, the Warriors' biggest flaw was their defense last season, which was definitely the most surprising one given their roster. But as of now, they're near the top 10 in defensive rating, points allowed in the paint, fast break points allowed, and second chance points allowed. It's still not perfect, but the fact that they're ranked so high in just about every major defensive category lets you know that they're a well-rounded defense with tons of versatility. When Draymond, Kaminga, Wiggins, and Klay are out on the floor together, they have the ability to cause chaos with their length. Kaminga's really stepped up his defense, and it looks like the Warriors are preparing him for a larger defensive role. He's often guarding the opposing team's best player, mostly when Wiggins is out, and they have many different bodies they can throw at just about any elite scorer in the NBA. We all know how elite Andrew can be out on the perimeter. Now it seems like Kaminga can be just as effective. And again, back to Klay, he isn't the same lockdown defender he was at the start of the dynasty, but he's still a good defender nonetheless. He's lost some of that quickness, but he still has high IQ and elite defensive instincts, plus he's got size. Gary Payton II continues to be one of the most tenacious defenders in basketball, and Draymond is still a top 5 defender. The versatility on this defensive side is just incredible. They just gotta stay consistent. And again, they still don't have it all figured out as a team yet, which Steve Kerr pointed out right before their 10th game and said this when asked about the Warriors' inconsistent starting lineups. That group has such a track record for the last couple of years. There's zero thought in changing the starting lineup. We're only 9 games in. Draymond missed all of camp, so I'm going to give that group every opportunity. And like I said, I fully expect the results to change here soon now that we're getting into better rhythm, better conditioning. That group will be fine. And yeah, I think they'll be more than fine. But here's a question for you. Who is your favorite Warriors player and why? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.